Hey, welcome back to another episode of the podcast. Today, I am joined by Jaidyn Stephenson, AFL star. He has had an incredible career both on and off the field, winning the AFL Rising Star in 2018 to navigating the highs and lows of professional footy, playing over 122 games. We're going to talk about his career, his decision to step away from the game last year, and what's next with the Stephenson Academy of Development. Plus, he also had a smile makeover with Dr. D, and so we're going to uncover that transformation to and life beyond the AFL. So let's get into this episode. Welcome, Jaidyn.
Thanks, Letitia. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. You have had such an impressive career, obviously the AFL and beyond. You won the AFL Rising Star in 2018. You've played a premiership with Collingwood. You have your own Academy of Development. I mean, what aren't you doing? I guess, what are you doing nowadays with yourself beyond the AFL?
Yeah, I was about to cut you off and say you forgot air conditioning technician. So
air conditioning.
Yeah, since retirement.
Let's talk about air conditioning.
Yeah, so since retirement, I'm obviously playing local footy. I shouldn't say obviously because you wouldn't know, but I'm playing local footy back in Fentree Gully where I grew up. And I was at the Christmas drinks and the new president of the club said, "What are you going to do for work?" And I said, "I'd like to be an electrician. So I'd like to start my apprenticeship in that." And he goes, "Have you ever heard of air conditioning and refrigeration technician?" And I hadn't. So I went home, looked it up, and he offered me a job.
This is for me.
Yeah, well, I actually still didn't know what it was once I looked it up. But yeah, I'm one of those people that's just willing to give anything a try. And I'm now 6 weeks in and really enjoying it.
So you're fresh to this.
Yeah, really fresh first year apprentice.
Wow.
You know, because I'm 26, I'm not getting treated like I'm not getting all the stupid lists to go down to Bunnings and all that sort of stuff.
You're not on the coffee runs or anything like that?
Nah. Okay. So there's a little bit more respect there just because of the age, I think.
And how's the change been for you? Obviously, you were playing AFL for so long and now slowing down, you'd say? Yeah,
certainly. There's pros and cons to both. Some of the cons, you don't get as much time off. So I'm working 7:30 till 4, Monday to Friday. It was nice with AFL where you'd get a Wednesday off and a Tuesday was a half day and a lot more time to get out and play golf. But I'm really enjoying the routine and it sort of lines up with all my best mates from back home. So when I'm working, they're working, and when I'm free, they're free, and we're able to catch up in those times, which is great.
So what's your ideal day off if you had to describe it to me? It involves golf?
Probably golf, yeah. I'd sleep till midday, I reckon.
I love that.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a night owl, so sleep till midday, play golf at 12:40-ish.
Yeah.
That'll take me to 5 and get home and have some dinner.
Have you played golf like your whole life? Is it just something that you love? I am not a golf person, that's why I ask. I just am interested.
No, only the last 2 years.
Okay, so a recent hobby that you've picked up.
Recently got into it, and like I said, with AFL, we had plenty of time to play, so I was playing 2 or 3 times a week, and that's now down to once a fortnight.
Yeah. Let's rewind to your early life. It's really every young Aussie kid's dream to play AFL, right? And you made it to a professional level. Tell us a bit about your early life. What were you like growing up?
Yeah, I was a really good kid by all accounts.
By your accounts?
No, by Mum's. Mum said you've turned into a poor kid now. I'm giving her a lot more worries now. But yeah, as a little kid, always loved sport. Gave everything a go. Cricket, basketball, tennis, footy, karate. Did all of it. Was always pretty good at school. Did well there. And like you said, it's every young kid's dream to play AFL. And I achieved that. And you know, retiring at 25, a lot of people go, "Well, what are you doing? Like, you've still got years ahead of you." I've said to a lot of people, like, I lived out my dream. I was one of the fortunate ones that was able to say that I achieved my dream. I lived it out. I did enough that I was happy with in that dream, and now I've got other dreams, and my focuses have changed. So I'm more than happy to give it away.
It's interesting because I have heard that commentary around, 25 being a really young age to retire in the AFL. Some people are retiring around 30, let's say. So did you ever have reservations or fears about retiring so young, or was it at that time that you thought, no, I'm done now?
Probably went a year or two too long, I reckon. Okay. I sort of had wanted to for a while, and it's really hard when you've got the pressures, not the pressures, but, your family, your friends, your partner, they all love coming to watch you play, and they love being a part of the whole sort of AFL bubble, if you call it that. But I was ready to get out earlier, and I don't know why, but I just bit the bullet and did it, and I'm certainly a lot happier, I think.
When did you start playing AFL? Were you really young?
Yeah, I was 18, so I come straight out of school, finished year 12, and then was in training camp about 3 weeks later at Collingwood. So there's not really any of that gap year or any time to have fun. You're now a professional athlete in the public eye, and it can be quite challenging.
I listened to another podcast you did, and you said that your career as counsellor, asked you, what you want to do when you finish school, and you said, I want to be an AFL player, and she kind of looked at you with, two heads. So you were obviously very dedicated and knew that that's what you wanted to do and had your eyes set on that from school.
Yeah, I obviously had my eye on it. I'm not going to sit here and say I worked harder than anyone else. That's why I got there. I was just fortunate enough to play well in the games that mattered and when the right people were watching. So I sort of breezed through a little bit, and everything just rolled one after the other, and it went from this squad to that squad to getting drafted to playing round one, all that sort of stuff. So I've certainly never been someone that's put my blood, sweat and tears into it, but I was able to achieve my dream regardless.
You talk about your family and friends obviously being, a real support to you through the time and watching you play as well when you were growing up. What was it like for them when you retired? How did they respond?
Mixed responses. Certainly my friends were probably more on the happier side because I get to spend more time with them now.
A bit selfishly.
Yeah, a bit selfish, but I don't know, my family, they were very supportive. They sort of would have backed me up whatever I chose to do. So whether I chose to stay, they would have loved it. But I think they're just as proud as me now starting my apprenticeship. And
were your mum and dad really supportive growing up? Were they at all your games watching you play?
Yeah, I don't think mum and dad missed a game until, geez, I don't know, maybe a year or two ago. Like they'd fly to WA, they'd fly to Tassie, Sydney, wherever it may be, they'd come and have always been a great support. And a good little thing too, not only having played AFL, but my old man supported the Kangaroos and obviously got to play for them, and my mum supported Collingwood and I got to play for them. So
Absolutely.
That was great.
So you made your debut with Collingwood in 2018 and then you were traded to North Melbourne in 2020. What was it like representing those clubs at that level?
Yeah, it was two very different experiences. You go from a big club at Collingwood and a lot of success. We played in a grand final, prelim and then a semi. So they were 3 successful years. And then to go to North Melbourne, which is a lot smaller club, and having no success, I think I won maybe 8 games in 4 years there. There was a big contrast between the two, but the thing that was the constant and stayed consistent was just the teammates, the banter in the locker rooms, all that sort of stuff. So I was
going to ask, give us an insight. What's it really like in the locker rooms?
I can't really throw my mates under the bus.
Come on.
There's some pretty wild stuff that goes on, and just, at the end of the day, it's 21-year-old boys being 21-year-old boys, and sometimes they can get, we can get put up on a pedestal that we're supposed to be role models in this, but we've still got that devious side to us, I suppose.
At heart,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What are some of your fondest memories from the AFL?
I always say that my actual favourite moment was the grand final parade. So driving down the street, sitting in the back in the ute, waving, and the fans, there would have been 100, 150,000 fans.
Crazy fans,
just lining the streets. I remember getting to the end, it was about half an hour on the back of the ute, and mouth was sore from smiling, my hand was sore from waving, and it was just an unbelievable experience. And if I could live out anything again in my career, it's probably that.
And making it to the AFL is obviously no easy feat. What do you think helped you stand out from anyone else?
It's a good question. I suppose just on the field, probably just speed. It's something that, if someone can't kick, they can learn and practice to kick. But speed is something you've sort of got or you don't. You can improve it a little bit, but you can never really get that quick. So I think speed, it's in all sports really. There's no sport where speed doesn't really help you. Maybe
so you've got quick legs. You're obviously a good runner, right? You'd have to have good stamina.
Yeah,
reasonably.
To do the
sport. Yeah, I can't even run around the block, so I'm impressed. Who inspired you during your playing days? Was there anyone that you looked up to, or any role models?
I don't know if it sounds bad, but no, not really. I sort of just floated through and went with the flow, did what I had to, and there was people there I could see that are amazing role models, and for those people that just live and breathe football, it's their whole life, then someone like Scott Pendlebury you could easily look up to, but he went about it a very different way than I did. So it's probably why he's played 400 games and I didn't.
So would you say you're someone then that didn't live and breathe it when you were playing at that level?
Yeah, I think it can be easy to take it for granted, but at the same time you can also lose sight that it is a job. We're told what hours we have to work, we get paid for it. It is a job at the end of the day.
I think people forget that. It's an interesting point that you make, and as someone who watches the AFL, we just look at you guys as sportsmen, but it's true, you are contracted. It is a job.
Yeah, and certainly when you've got fans, like for instance, like trades, when you want to trade and go somewhere else, it's like all your family and your friends, whatever, they'll say, oh, stay, like you don't want to leave the club. It's like, well, if I was a landscaper and I said I'm not happy with my work environment and I want to change different bosses, all your friends and family go, yeah, straight away, go do that, leave, which it's we're treated differently in the AFL, but I think if you continue to bring it back to that, it can make a whole lot more sense.
Let's talk a bit about your retirement. You stepped away from the game at 25. You said that you weren't as passionate as you once was. What went into that decision?
Well, I suppose we've touched on it. Like I said, it was a dream. And obviously just getting drafted is one thing. Playing one game is another thing. Playing 100 games is another thing after that. So my dream was always to play 100 AFL games. I was able to achieve that. And once I did, my dreams, they shifted. I had other interests that I wanted to attack, and getting on with life, whether I'm 25, whether I'm 33 when I'm retiring, still going to have to find something after footy and still going to have to sort of work. So getting an apprenticeship now, I'll be fully qualified by 29, and, I can be a 29-year-old set up and moving forward from there.
For sure. And with this sport comes a lot of immense pressure and stress as well. There's a lot of media scrutiny, performance expectations. How did you handle the pressure during it, and what was the impact on your mental health?
Yeah, I think we all have ups and downs. I think when we play, there's things that are challenging. When you're going well, everything's sunshine and rainbows. Nothing you do can be wrong. If you have a bad game or 3 bad games, then all of a sudden you can't do anything right, and it just goes. That's the nature of the game, I suppose. And I think I've noticed that a lot now in a different work environment where it's, the standard and the expectations aren't as high. It's like, go there, you know what you have to do the job, make it look as good as you can. And if it's not perfect, that's okay, as long as it's as good as you can do and it's great. Whereas in AFL, professional sport, it's got to be perfect. Otherwise, you cop a little bit of steam. And at times obviously struggled with that, but it's all part of the job.
Were there any really challenging moments for you?
Certainly getting my suspension. That was a tough time. Had a 10-week suspension. I think it's the most ever given by the AFL Integrity. So that was a pretty tough time, but I touched back on like my teammates and the club. They were very supportive and got behind me, made it a whole lot easier. So I think the hardest thing though is like social media, news reporters.
The journalists are pretty rough. The journalists,
they're shocking. And I heard Dana White say it the other day how poor they are, and it's certainly something that I know I hear talked about a lot and something I certainly feel, but it's always the negative, or if they can pick one thing out of what you say and sort of put their own little spin on it, I think they need to be held to better standards. I
hear you, and it's an interesting point. My dad is a professional athlete. He's a kickboxer, and I know that, he has had calls from journalists over the years, and they always frame it that they want to just ask you a few questions, and then they end up spinning this really negative story, and it ends up on front page news, and that can have a really big impact on you mentally. I mean, you personally, but also your family and friends as well, who want to support you and be there for you. Now that you've stepped away from the game, though, has your perspective or outlook on the industry changed?
Not really, no. It's still very similar. And like you said about your dad, there were heaps of reporters reach out saying, can we have a chat, And I'm like, no, half the reason why I want to get out of the public eye, I just want to, fade into the shadows, go and do my own little thing.
Just be a normal guy.
Just be a normal person. Like, there's no other air conditioning technicians getting asked for interviews. So
no one wants to ask you for interviews today, just us?
Yeah, well, just you guys now, so that's good.
Let's talk a bit about your health complications. I read that you were diagnosed with a genetic heart condition at 18 years old, and that was on the eve of you being drafted. And it turns out that you have the same condition as your mum and your sister. How did this come about? How did you even find out that you had this?
Yeah, you've done really well on your research.
Thank you.
I got brought up at a screening, obviously, before you get drafted. You have to do all your medical tests and your fitness tests. And one of my medical tests, my ECG, came back bizarre. So I went and got further testing by a cardiologist and, found out I had long QT syndrome, which is a little defect with the electrics of my heart. So I still manage that. I'm going to manage that for the rest of my life. Found out it was genetic. So my mum, my sister and I are all on medication for the rest of our lives.
Wow. So every day taking medication for it?
Yeah, it was actually 3 times a day.
Wow.
But we were able to get a exemption for this American drug or way, similar from America that's only once a day, which was really handy.
And is it true that some clubs ruled you out because of your heart condition?
Apparently, I obviously wasn't in any of those meetings, but Yeah, from all reports, but like I said, don't believe everything you read.
How did the physical demands of professional footy take a toll on your body and your condition too? Because I imagine that it would just be grueling between the training and playing on the field. What was that like?
Yeah, I'm very fortunate. I didn't really have any injuries. I had I think 2 broken bones in my time, so I missed maybe 3 or 4 weeks through injury. But apart from that, my body held up really well. And
with your heart condition, didn't give you any dramas or issues?
And there was always the doctors and the medical staff at the clubs were always great, saying if you feel anything, palpitations or whatever it may be, let us know. And especially early on when I was 18 and all the news was fresh around the condition, I was getting pulled out of trainings like early. I wasn't doing the whole lot just to keep my load short. But as time went on, I just sort of forgot about it.
Let's talk about your work in the community, because I know that you are a Heart Kids ambassador and you also won the Peter Scanlon Community Award in 2023. Talk to us about the work that you've done with Heart Kids.
Yeah, I think as AFL footballers are really fortunate to be in a position where we can have an impact on others, and especially kids. It's amazing when you go anywhere and it's always the little kid that comes up and asks for the photo, and always more than happy to do that. I remember when I was their age, and if I'd have seen an AFL player, I probably would have done the same thing. So always make time for them. And like you touched on with Heart Kids, as soon as my condition came out, he's not the CEO, but he was pretty high up there. He reached out and said, would you like to come on as ambassador? And since then, we've held a lunch annually, Jaidyn's lunch. It's turned into a dinner. But we've raised, I think, just shy of $300,000.
Wow.
So that's an amazing achievement of mine that I'm actually really proud of. And I don't take all the credit. I actually did not much. I just sort of rocked up there. So Norm Hutton, who unfortunately passed away a couple of months ago, he was the brains and the organiser behind all of that, and all the credit really goes to him. But together we're able to collaborate and raise this money. He was a fantastic man, and it goes a long way to helping these kids and their parents going through tough times at such young ages. Yeah,
it's amazing. I know even through my journey with Miss Universe Australia too, I did a lot of fundraising and working directly with sick kids and parents. And I think when you're able to talk to them face to face, you really do get to see the impact that these charities and organisations have. It's one thing just raising money or donating to someone online, but then when you actually get in the community and do that work, I think is just life-changing. There were so many moments too where I'm sure you probably felt the same, where it really hits home that it's like, this is, their life. And sometimes kids are lucky to get through, and then other times families are grieving as well. What's that feeling like for you, being able to give back?
I suppose it's you've got to be very grateful of the life you live. Like, everything's not going to be perfect. There's going to be ups and downs like we've touched on, but these kids have got it a lot worse than us. There's always people that have got it worse than you, and sometimes we can lose sight of that and think the world revolves around us. But being able to give your time, go to the Children's Hospital, go to teen camp, 2 Feet in a Heartbeat, these are just some of the Heart Kids things. It certainly gives you a great perspective of how lucky we are, but also how lucky we are that we can help.
Are there any events coming up? I know you mentioned about the dinner that you guys are doing.
Yeah, that's coming up in late March. So
getting ready for that?
Currently in the organising phase of that. It's going to be
you got your suit ready?
No, it's not a suit.
Or is it not a suit?
It's actually a roast of me this year. So
it's a roast?
Yeah. So
okay.
I've got to find some people to get up there and talk poorly about me, which, I mean, I can take it. But it's going to be our last one. Obviously with Norm going, it's going to be for both of us, for myself and Norm, and hopefully we can raise some money, go out with a bang, and I'm then going to stay on as an ambassador. And I want to get more into the side of interacting with the kids and that, rather than the corporate side. I think that on-ground experience, face-to-face with the kids makes all the difference. Anyone who's listening to this podcast, how can they get involved or support? You just go to heartkids.org.au. That's your easiest way to find it. Search it on Google, just Heart Kids. And you know what? It's amazing how many people are affected by it. Like, maybe you're not, but your brother, your sister, a friend, they might have had a kid or an auntie or whatever it may be that has been affected. And like I said, it's Heart Kids, talk about the kids, but there is much there as a support for the adults, for the parents, that it's a tough time. Like, you can have kids at 24, 25 and you've got a little kid that needs heart surgery. That would be traumatising. So the support they give them is also amazing. For sure. And I love that the charities and organisations do put a really key focus on not just helping the child that's affected, but also their families too, because the families end up undergoing so much trauma and stress through that time that
I know sometimes they like send them off to camps or things like that so that they have bonding as a family too, and to get them out of that monotonous routine, which is really important. Let's switch gears and talk about the Stephenson Academy of Development. I know that you have this service and you work with some youth in the community. What is it?
Yeah, I just thought I'd set up, like we've touched on here. I have learned a lot in my time as a footballer, learnt the ups, the downs, what to do if you really want to be a 300-game superstar. I can see it. I obviously didn't put it into practice myself as much as I needed to, but I've seen what it's like and what's needed to get there. So being able to help sort of guide these young kids through their journey and give them little tips on, building resilience, not giving up, all this sort of stuff has certainly helped. And one of the guys I'm actually he's doing a bike ride from Gold Coast to Melbourne. So it's not footy related, but it's certainly something that's going to need some mental fortitude. And I'm helping out him as well at the moment.
And how do you hope that this impacts the next generation, obviously with everything you've been through and your life lessons? What do you hope to pass on to them?
Just probably lessons learnt. I mean, it's so hard. Like as a young kid, I didn't have anyone in my life that really guided me and had been to the spot where I wanted to be. So to have someone that's sort of been there, done that, you can get some really good advice and things to do, things not to do, things to look out for, because it's not as easy as it looks.
Amazing. And if people are interested, they can just reach you via your website and Instagram?
Yep, certainly.
Amazing. Talk to me about future plans. Obviously, you're installing air conditionings at the moment. What's next for you?
I'd like to obviously finish my apprenticeship. I don't know, I'm spending the next probably 6 months to a year just getting back into normal life, being that normal person from Fentry Gully where I grew up. I'm playing local cricket, so I've got that tomorrow, local footy, just little stuff like that, going down, playing tennis, golf. Sport's obviously a big part of my life, but started a golf clothing brand. So hopefully that goes well. That's called Clora.
Is it like fashionable golf gear? What are we talking?
We'll say fashionable.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not like too indie or out there, but just going to try and build a nice little community with that. And that's all in the production phase at the moment.
Amazing. Love that. We have a closing tradition on this podcast where every guest has to do a round of rapid fire Q&A questions. So I have 10 questions for you.
Yep.
Are you ready?
Go ahead.
All right. Question number 1. What is your dream holiday destination?
Iceland.
Iceland? Why Iceland? Apart from the fact that it looks beautiful.
I don't know. I just love the baths in the water. I've obviously never been there with the snow, all that. I know it's rapid fire. I'll quickly butt in here, but touching on the golf brand Clora. Clora is actually an Icelandic word for scratch, and a scratch golfer is sort of what you want to be. So Iceland was incorporated into the name of the brand.
There you go. What is your most embarrassing moment on the field?
I took a kick in once and kicked it straight to Lance Franklin, and he come in and kicked his 1,050th goal or whatever it may have been for him, and I turned my back.
God. Question number 3. What is your go-to meal pre-game?
I'm not very superstitious. Actually, one game, my first ever Queen's birthday game, I hadn't eaten that morning, and I called in at KFC and had 2 go buckets on the way to the game.
How did you feel after it?
I kicked 4 goals that day.
Wow.
So, but I didn't end up doing it again, unfortunately. Maybe I should have.
Okay. What is the strangest nickname you've ever had?
Oh, I haven't really had many. I guess Steve.
Steve?
Yeah, my last name's Stephenson, so just call me Steve. A little bit strange.
What is your secret talent?
I can't say it, yeah.
Come on.
My best mate and I have this little party trick that we do. But yeah, it's more to show, not tell.
Can you demonstrate for us?
No, I can't. Next question, please. I can't.
Okay, moving on. Who was the biggest pest in the locker room?
Oh, Ben Crocker at Collingwood, and probably Tom Powell at North Melbourne.
Okay. What is your favourite movie or TV show?
The Shawshank Redemption as a movie and Prison Break as a TV show.
Love both. Excellent choices. If you could switch lives with one celeb, who would it be and why?
Probably Leonardo DiCaprio, more for when I'm 50.
He's aged like a fine wine, hasn't he? Question 9. What is your go-to karaoke song?
Runaway by Ziggy Alberts.
Okay.
Yeah.
You had that one prepared. That's excellent. And question number 10. What is your idea of a perfect day off?
just to sleep in, some golf.
And golf.
Maybe a movie at night.
Amazing. Jaidyn, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. It was so lovely to have you. And thank you for being so transparent and open as well with your journey in the AFL and beyond. And we wish you all the very best. Episodes will be released every Thursday morning on Apple Podcasts, Spotify and YouTube. You can also find us on Instagram and TikTok at Smile the Makeover Scoop. Don't forget to send in any questions, guests that you want to see on the show, dilemmas, queries, whatever you like. You can send them to hello@smilethemakeoverscoop.com. Next week, we will be chatting to internet personality Sarah Rosa. We will be spilling the tea on maths, her business ventures, and her incredible smile makeover. So stay tuned for that one. We'll catch you guys next week. This podcast is for informational purposes only and does not constitute medical, legal, or financial advice. Please consult with a professional for specific advice tailored to your situation.